I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'd please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do not have any special recognitions this evening, and I don't see any citizens prepared to make comments. So I would seek approval of the minutes of September 2nd, 2015, and the minutes of September 9, 2015. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is a vote. We now move on to the student representatives report. Jacob and welcome.
Thank you. All right. So everything this year so far has been going pretty smoothly. I have heard a few complaints about the iPads and some limited abilities that we have with them. I know for one example, there's a feature called AirDrop, which allows a teacher to, or a student even, to share a picture across all the iPads present in the room, and you can then have that picture on the iPad spread across the entire room. And that's been disabled by the management profiles that are present on the iPads. And I know for a fact that one of my teachers said, well, that would have been extremely helpful should that be used and implemented. However, he does see how it could be used in a way that would provide it being blocked that way.
Okay.
Going off of the iPads, there are some difficulties, such as the App Store being enabled and disabled, not allowing the juniors and the seniors who recently got the iPads to download the apps necessary needed for class time. And so if that could be worked out, they are installing programs that are beneficial, but they could do more. The Wi-Fi is pretty decent with the iPads, it works. As well as, well, off of the iPad topic, scheduling. There's a massive schedule issue at the high school that's affecting seniors and some of the juniors, but mostly the seniors. And that is because the wellness requirement has shifted so that certain classes no longer count for wellness until next year. But that's another issue that really cost them up for. Other than that, sports is going well. Marching band won 3rd place in their competition on Saturday. Both soccer teams have won their game against Southbridge. Field hockey recently won against Long Meadow, and the football team beat Millbury on Friday. And everyone's just looking forward to homecoming.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that report, and we will certainly look into those issues, and congratulations to the teams that won, and especially the band coming out after still being somewhat new and being able to take 3rd place. That's excellent, and our sports teams carrying on their tradition as usual. And as I said, we'll look into those other things for you. I'm sure Dr. Brunel will be
Definitely.
beyond that. There's a reason that we put the iPads out there, and it was to improve your learning and kind of hinder the progress.
All right. Thank you.
Any comments?
Just said it was a good report.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Very good report.
I would second that. You guys are doing a great job right out of the gate, and we appreciate that. Thank you. And we now move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item is actually a repeat of a trip that has happened previously. Mr. Young is the ski club advisor and is seeking permission to take students to Stowe for a ski and snowboard trip. This being planned in middle of March, but seeking your approval because it is out of state. He's compiled a complete packet similar to ones that he has presented to you in the past, and it is my recommendation that you approve this.
I would entertain that motion.
I will make that motion that we approve the ski club trip to Stowe, Vermont.
Do I have
It
a
seems
second?
to be well planned for. And
Yep. as
Second.
usual. And we have a second. Is there any discussion on that?
Sounds fun.
No? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
We actually received this donation last year as well. There's a program called EpiPen for schools. And Mrs. Collins, one of our nurse leaders, let us know that they received 20 EpiPens for free from this program. So they have been dispersed to the schools, but I wanted to make you aware and would ask that you accept them. A thank you note has been sent, but just make the formal acceptance of them.
Excellent. I would entertain that motion.
Make a motion to accept the donation of 20 EpiPens from EpiPen for Schools program.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any conversation?
Just wondering, do EpiPens expire at the end of a year? Or can we stockpile them from year to year?
You know, quite honestly, I don't know the answer to that question. I can ask.
I can
Oh, you
speak to
do?
that.
Okay.
They do. They are only good for
Expire.
about a year, so.
Yeah, okay.
Right, we have one in our house.
Okay.
Okay, so then this is really appreciated because if we can't stockpile them, we have to buy them new every year. then-
Correct, then,
yeah.
yes.
This
Good,
is
thank
great.
you.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is a vote.
I just wanted to share with you, this has become a tradition I do every year, and went Monday morning to speak with the golfers. They had a record crowd of golfers. It was a beautiful fall day, not quite fall, but it felt fall that day. And all of the money that they raised, which actually totals about $244,000 over 21 years.
Wow.
And they donated, teachers right now are writing mini grants for up to $250 each, and then they give away thousands of dollars in scholarships. So I go to thank the School Business Partnership and all of the golfers too, so I just wanted to make you aware. Great donation.
Excellent.
Another thing, just wanted to make you aware of, I try to highlight for you, I think it's important that the collaboration and when we work together, I think that we all achieve more. And the latest example of that is Mr. Matt Benoit, who is the town planner. He had reached out to us. They're seeking to construct a walking trail that connects the Pappas complex with the new South Hold Road property that has been purchased. And in doing so, they would like our woodworking students with Mr. Bedard to make some signs that would be appropriate. So I don't believe the work has yet started with us, but we've agreed to do that. And it's a great application for our students to actually do some real-life things that they'll be able to see out in the community, and it's just mutually beneficial. So I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Thank you. Comments?
I think it's a great idea.
The cross-country route, I had shared with you our excitement about putting one in over here through the woods adjacent to the New Auburn Middle School. Unfortunately, we had walked at Mr. Fahey and Mr. Ethier and I this past June or so, and there was more work than could be accomplished in this short period of time that they had with summer and all of the work that was continuing on the school. So we do hope to get that to a certain place, but wanted you to know that they are going to be running up at Lemansky and in the Horgan Rink area. They didn't run yesterday because of the potential with the coyote in the area, per the chief of police, but are running up in that area now.
Question, Dr. Riddell? When they have to go to another field like that, does that involve bus transportation?
It does, and it costs, I think the quote was $250 to transport them there, so it is a cost that we needed to incur for that.
Okay.
Mrs. Reedy, our Director of Pupil Services, you remember that back several years ago, probably close to 3 years ago now, every 6 years, the Department of Ed comes in and does a review, and they look at special education. They do different reviews. One year, in fact, I think we had every review possible from DESE, including food services, Title I, civil rights. It was absolutely every review. This one actually will focus only on special education and will occur sometime in mid to late December. So just wanted to make you aware of that. They do issue a report, excuse me, and obviously we'll share that with you at the time, but just to let you know that they will be coming again. Just for a one-day visit is my understanding.
Any
Question?
comments? Sure.
Does that involve going through into the classes, or does that involve going through records and?
So when they came a few years ago, they went in and actually went and met and interviewed different individuals across the district. This one, I believe, and we don't have full information on it yet, but is really going to be more of a records review and done in-house here, so it's not going to be out in the schools.
Okay. Thank you.
The next item, and I offer thanks up front on this. We're so fortunate in Auburn to have a safety advisory committee that has been long-standing between its representatives of the police, fire, and school personnel, and they continue to meet on a monthly and sometimes more often basis. But there is a requirement on the books as per Chapter 159 of the Acts of 2000, Section 363, that says, prior to a school year beginning, the superintendent of the schools must meet with the chief of police and chief of fire and review the multi-hazard plan. We have a district plan, but then each school has its own individual plan. They have memorandums of understandings of where, should they need to evacuate, where they would evacuate to, all of which we keep confidential, obviously. But I just wanted to make you aware that meeting did take place, and I thank the chiefs for taking the time out, but also Safety Advisory for their great work.
Any comments? Seeing none?
And now I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Lozay, who's going to give an update on the teaching and learning report.
Great, so, good evening, everyone. Thank
Good
you
evening.
for including me here at the table with you all. It's going to be a great opportunity this year. I just wanted to kind of go over some of the opening day activities. I know in your last school committee package, you did get a listing of all those activities, but I thought I'd highlight a few for you. On the first day of those 3 days, we did require all of our staff to take ALICE training. You remember you had a little bit of that, well, we required them to do a full day. So in the morning, they participated in lectures and videos, and then in the afternoon, they actually went through several different simulations. So they feel well prepared, I think, to start speaking to their students, and we'll have the safety committee as well as the Auburn Police Department go in, make follow-up visits to the schools. So that will be ongoing this year. In addition, we were able to offer the second professional development to our K-5 teachers, who we have embarking on a new math series, Go Math. Some of you are hearing about it with your students. So we had given them the initial training back in June. This is their second training, so that was a lot around digging a little deeper and looking at the technology, so that was pretty successful. For our grade 6 through 12 teachers, we actually had some additional iPad training. We really tried to differentiate it this time based on where their current level of expertise was. Some teachers have had them in their hands along with their students for a year or two, but some have not. So we kind of differentiated that training, and I think that went pretty well. And finally, I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you about our wonderful luncheon that we had that day. The whole staff came together for a luncheon. It was co-sponsored by the Auburn Education Association as well as the leadership team, and our food services provided it. There was soups to nuts at this, and so it was a great way to kind of start the year off, so everybody was really happy with that.
Great.
That was great. In terms of our iPad distribution, we hear that there are some challenges that we still need to work on, but in terms of the distribution, I say this with great pride that we have now distributed 1,300 iPads to our students, grades
Wow.
6 to 12. That's a large number of iPads. The Auburn Middle School did it within the first 3 days of school. The Auburn High School did it the following week, and they did it all by grade level. So every student has an iPad in hand at this point, and we're very excited about that. A lot of that distribution plan was done by the principals in Eric Luvia, and I would say it went fairly smoothly, considering there were 1,300 of them. We were also able then to redeploy our previous inventory of iPads, which meant that we were able to put 14 iPad carts at Swanson Road, which means there's one iPad cart per 2 classrooms, so that ratio is terrific. We were also able to add one additional iPad cart to Packagug and to Bryn Mawr, making 1 cart per grade level available to our primary kids. So they're all over the place. And I have to just share with you that as recently as this morning in a conversation with a consultant coming into our district to work with us, and they want to know what technology we have available. When I was sharing this 1,300 and all the additional iPads, we had the Epsons, they just couldn't get over the resources that we provide to our kids. So I guess I think the community, you as the school committee, the superintendent, all the staff should be commended on that, because it's really terrific, and people are very jealous.
Question, Kathy.
Sure.
Do they hold up very well, or did some have to be repaired over the summer, or?
There were a few.
Yeah, this is it. Like, it's
Go ahead.
fine.
It's fine.
Like, the case is easy to work with, and it's perfect for class. Yeah, other than that, it works.
Great demo.
So they hold up pretty good?
They hold up pretty well, and we have a few every year
Yeah.
that need to be repaired, but really, it's minimal.
Great.
In terms of MCAS and Park, there is a memo from Commissioner Chester in your packet, kind of outlining some timelines. By the end of this week, we should have district and school results that we can access. We access that through the security portal. And then they will be mailing out actually the student reports that go home to students, and we should get those next week. However, Park will not be available till mid-November for us in terms of the district and school results. And student reports will not even be available till December at this point. So I'll continue to give you updates and then specific data around the results as we go forward during the school year. And then finally, in your packet, there is a document that's listing the current enrollment numbers for each of our grades and classroom sizes at the elementary. And it appears from this document that we're currently within acceptable limits for our class sizes. So I think we're off to a great start. So, thank you.
Any comments, questions?
I have a question actually
Sure.
about the Go Math program. And I think I remember from last year, the presentation you put on, that parents can watch demos on the Go Math program
Yeah.
and learn how to help their children.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of discussion this week with the Common Core. So I think that's a good thing. Maybe we can stress that through a one call or something, that parents can go and find information through that website.
And that will be rolled out slowly. Teachers are getting really comfortable with it, and
Mhm.
they call it the math personal trainer. And as we get more familiar with it in the classrooms, we'll be able to let you access those at home too.
Okay, yeah, I just got a notice the other day from Swanson Road that my daughter
Get ready
was
to go.
enrolled. So
That's
yes,
great.
I'm
Yeah.
going to start watching
You're going to be
demos.
very, very impressed.
Do you really want to learn how to do math that way, Ms.
Not really, but I don't want to sit there and not know what,
Right.
she's doing.
Or have to look up Khan Academy or borrow somebody's book, right?
Right, or Google. I've been Googling everything.
It's good. No, that's great to hear.
Question?
Sure. Oh, sorry.
I have a question on
Sure.
the park.
Yep.
Is that happening again this year?
So I'm glad you asked, kind of. So it's in the process of being voted on. Commissioner Chester is working with different groups of people. They're looking at the cut scores, and he will make a recommendation at some point in November, and it will be voted on. At that point, we'll know more, and then in December, he will roll out what the options are if we are going to continue with it, and if not, then what we will do. Okay?
And I do have a question.
Good, Gil.
I just looked at class sizes, and I'm wondering, do all the kindergarten classes have a classroom aide?
We do,
So everyone has at least one?
yes.
Oh, okay, good.
And then sometimes, we have additional supports in the
Sure.
classrooms.
All right, good. Thank you.
Any other comments? I would just say that with the iPads being dispersed now, once we get a feel for them, maybe we could have another one of those presentations that we had when they first went out. We had the middle school students come in.
Yeah.
That was great. Maybe we could do something with all levels, including the little ones, if they have an opportunity to at least, get their feet wet a little bit with them. And,
Yeah, they would love that as well.
yeah,
Great.
just maybe a couple from each grade level could work together on something. And
Great.
I'd like to see something like that.
Show you some Go Math videos.
And
Yeah.
thank you, that was a nice report.
Yeah, thank you.
And we now move on to unfinished business.
So I put this on the agenda, obviously we prepare it prior to last week's joint meeting, in case there was any discussion. I think it was a positive meeting, a productive meeting. And I think there were some guidelines in terms of for Mr. Kazanovich with the budget kickoff, so we will certainly wait and see. The next item, the return of the Julia Bancroft and Mary D. Stone schools. Mr. Fahey and I have met, as I've kept you apprised. It is our recommendation at this point that you motion or make a motion to return these to the town. There's a sample language there for you as of October 1st. Currently, Mary D. Stone, the only items left in there of any substance are the cafeteria tables. So those are being moved out and kept in a different location. Julia Bancroft has become somewhat of a warehouse for extra furniture, and this was always the plan, that we had some items up at Packagug. We let the town departments go up to see if any of them could use it first before we go through that approval that you had given back in the late winter, early spring, that they would then be picked up by a company and shipped overseas. So we want to give them another opportunity, the townspeople, department heads, to do that. and then coordinate with them to come and take the items away. So, but other than that, those two, much-loved buildings, I know we talked about that last week. I think it's nice that it appears at this point that they will continue to serve the community of Auburn, just not as educational facilities. So hopefully it will work out well.
I would entertain that motion.
Can we put a stipulation in that they can't take down Mary D?
I don't think that's going anywhere.
No.
Go ahead.
I make a motion that as of October 1st, the land and buildings of the Julia Bancroft and Mary D. Stone elementary schools are no longer required for public purposes by the school department, and that such land and buildings are hereby deemed surplus property.
Second.
Any discussion?
They served us well.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, is a vote.
Thank you. We will get that notification to town's administration. The next item, at your request, I included in here, this was the latest budget reduction. It was actually as of April 13th. And what I did for you is highlight in yellow the items that were ultimately removed. And these were positions that were removed. No, I didn't highlight for you reductions in supplies, although you can see that some have been made here. And then in green, we had removed the second nurse at Swanson and replaced with an LPN, which seems to be working well, and obviously we'll continue to monitor that, and I'll keep you apprised as we go. But I share it with you as an informational piece. I know that you're continuing to consider priorities of where you want to focus your attention. I have shared with the leadership team that ones that have been constant, and correct me if I'm wrong, are class size, to maintain class sizes at appropriate levels, and to be sure that our students have up-to-date textbooks and technologies available to them.
Good.
So, but if you have others, please do share them.
Any comments?
I actually just have a question. I know we're going through the capital plan a little bit later in the meeting, but at this time, just given what we learned about the potential for a smaller than expected budget next year, do we need to actually be thinking about that in terms of our budget as well? I mean, I'm just thinking of anything that wasn't completed this summer, especially with all the shift.
So in terms of the CIP, because we've got so many projects ongoing right now, between the accelerated repair, the 2 roofs and the boiler project, and other projects that were done this summer, what our plan is we're going to, by late October, all of those projects should be completed. The boiler might be a little bit delayed, but the roof, certainly, they're just finishing buttoning up some minor items, is that Mrs. Worsbicky and myself and Mr. Fahey will sit and go over where we stand with monies. I think that we believe that we have ample money. Confidently, I can state we have ample money to do the projects without asking for any additional funds.
Okay.
A couple of the projects came in a little less than we had anticipated, which is great. So we'll seek to reappropriate those monies at the May town meeting if we identify needs for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. That's all I have.
That's it. Okay, moving on.
The next letter, as directed or requested at the last meeting, I did send a letter to Commissioner Chester. I know that a number of other superintendents did regarding the Mass Biotech Charter School. We actually received notification, you may have read it in the paper today, that the commissioner decided not to move that proposal forward.
Oh,
Others were moved forward, but this one here was not. And that's the only word that we received, was that it was not. So, but I think it was a strong statement from you as a committee and me on your behalf.
Excellent.
good.
We now move on to
Something
new
actually
business.
worked.
Right. With your permission, I'd like to save my self-assessment and goals for the next meeting on October 7th. I simply have not had a chance to get to them, and I apologize.
Fine with me. Any
I have no
concerns?
problem.
I'm not
Sure.
concerned.
I wouldn't-
That's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
In terms of upcoming meetings, we are in the midst of curriculum nights, parent events, as Yara and Jacob had indicated. Our athletic teams are up and running. I mean, everything is completely back in full swing. We're back on routines and schedules, and but very busy, which is great. And coming up rather quickly, actually, is the Columbus Day holiday. And on October 9th, we'll actually have a half day of professional development just prior to that, which is fairly typical.
Excellent. Any comments? We now move on to business and financial.
Good evening, everyone. Is when we were talking about the capital improvement plans, Mr. Fahey and I did meet individually, one-on-one with each of the principals. We discussed the fiscal year 2017 amounts that were set aside, and we've decided to go with no changes. We're going to leave that as is, so that's basically, you have that in your packet. We did sit down and we discussed the 2021, what we would propose for that, and they are listed there on your page. Would you like me to read them, or do you know? They're listed there for you, okay?
Okay.
All right.
That was
2021.
And I'd like to, that you make a motion to accept these,
Can I ask one
or
question?
that you approve them.
good, Dorothy.
Can you make a motion first?
No, you go ahead. That's
It's
fine.
just a question about the specifically about the PAC electrical upgrade. Just, are we overlooking whatever was going on in the very beginning of the year? Is that completely resolved, or do we anticipate?
Through the chair, it's not resolved yet. We are on the list to have it resolved. Unfortunately, cooler weather is on its way, and
Right.
cold weather is right behind it. But those monies are not required in either the 17 or 21 CIPs.
Okay.
Those are ones we already have set aside for that.
Okay, thank
Yep,
you for
you're welcome.
clarifying.
Okay, I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to, approve the capital plan expenditures.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This vote.
Thank you. I've also provided in your packet a year-to-date budget report dated September 17th. I want you to note that there are some negative balances there with, we had our salaries for the teachers and went through with the payroll, so we have some encumbrances. I do have a group of transfers in here that I'm looking to get approved, so those would take care of those negative balances that are on the budget there. We also, part of the reasoning for the negative balances were they were contractual agreements that, we hadn't had the contracts settled at that point, so we weren't aware of what the changes would end up being, so we need to move a little bit of money there, so. But the group of transfers is in your packet as well, so. And then as far as busing, I'd like to go into the busing. We started the year, in spite of all of our careful planning and trying to make everything run smoothly, we started off a little rough, and the first few days were, a little, much of a challenge. But everybody stepped up in central office, this administrative team and the staff were very supportive. We worked through a lot of the kinks. I mean, in any district, the first few days of school are always a little chaotic for any district. So by day 4, things were running a lot more smoothly. I'm happy to say that as of tonight, or as of the last week, our bus numbers have been great. We're right, where we need to be. The routes seem to be running along smoothly. We've been monitoring the arrival times in the morning. All of our buses are getting to school on time for school starting. And in the afternoons, the pickups have been running a lot smoother, and the schools are kind of getting into a rhythm. It was a little hectic with some of the changes in the schools and stuff, but we've made some modifications. I'd also like to thank you for your support of us during this busing, when we were going through all of our issues, but also the fact that you supported us in adding that additional bus, because it is something that we did need, and it is benefiting the students. So all of our numbers on the busing are very good at this point, so I'm really happy about that. So, okay. And the last thing, I actually need you to take a vote, or I'd like to ask you to approve the transfers that I have in your packet, so.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the transfers.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
This vote.
Okay, so I will take care of that and get rid of the negatives in the budget.
Could I go back to something? Cecilia, looking at fiscal year, where was it? This will be at 2017,
Okay.
under building rehabs, and it says AMS, replacement of both gym floors, but that's Swanson Road, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, that's, I'm
So that
thinking,
should have been.
Yeah.
But at the time when it was being written, it was.
Yeah, it was.
AMS, but,
Okay.
Yeah, we should
Okay.
make a note of that.
All
So
right.
I apologize for that.
no problem, I'm just,
Okay.
I can't be replacing the new floors that fast.
No. We're hoping-
Okay, thank you.
We're very happy with our building, and we're hoping not to have to do any repairs for quite a
Right,
while.
that
It's a
should be
beautiful
zero
building.
for quite some time.
It's a beautiful building. I also, in your packet, have provided the ProPay updates. We're still requesting payments for the middle school project itself. So I have a listing of all the payments that have been submitted. We're up to, I've submitted through, I'm getting ready to submit payment number 32, putting that together. I'll be doing that by the end of the month. Payment 31 has been submitted. I haven't received anything back from MSBA yet, but we should shortly. It's usually a pretty quick turnaround. I've also submitted the second payment for the accelerated repairs, which are this 10 Swanson Road project, as well as the Bryn Mawr project. And so I'm awaiting to get our receipt. We did receive our first installment payment from MSBA for both of those projects. I'm waiting on number 2, and I'm working on putting together another number 3 payment. So that's moving along very nicely as well. So, but thank you. Any questions?
Nothing. All right, thank you for that report.
Thank you.
Great job. We now move on to policies.
I brought before you the policy BEDB-E, the school committee agenda form, and as you had agreed back in the spring, we're going to add a component to the agenda, a teaching and learning report. So it's my recommendation that you approve this as amended.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make that motion to approve the updated policy as
Right.
presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
And then finally, there are 2 job descriptions. We go through these regularly to be sure that we have one for each of our positions, and realize that these were 2 we did not. First one is a BCBA, a Board Certified Behavior Analyst. Spends an awful lot of time working and supporting students that were on the autism spectrum, require discrete trials, collecting data, supporting those individuals who work with them, and then also the crossing guard. And it is my recommendation that you approve both.
I would entertain a motion to approve both of these job descriptions.
I'll make a motion to approve the job description for the BCBA and the crossing guard positions.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. Are these, well, crossing guard is obviously filled. Do we have someone doing the behavior analysis?
We do. We actually, this is a critical position, and it's become more critical over the years recently. So what we did is, and hard to hire, because there are not many of them
No,
out
I
there.
wouldn't think so.
So several years ago, we had an individual who was very much on his way in this, and we helped support him to earn this additional
Oh.
degree or certificate,
Mhm.
license, I should say. So we do have one in-house.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
No, obviously we have crossing guards, so.
We do. We do. Great job, yes.
Yeah, through the chair, can I just make a comment about the crossing guards? I've seen them literally throw themselves out in the street to protect these kids, so, I mean, they definitely
They do.
deserve some thank yous.
They
And,
do.
Wayne?
Crossing guard at West Street.
Mhm.
I know I talked to you about that before. Did they put one out there, or was it?
Through the chair,
How
you
did
did
that work?
mention that to me.
Yes.
We're actually discussing that with Officer Kennedy, with the school resource officer, and we're reviewing the location. We did it earlier this summer, the location of all of our crossing guards. We made several changes to it, so I did make note, and we're going to look into that.
Oh, good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments? Well, we don't need to go into executive session.
Correct.
Did we vote on that, to accept that?
Vote on the 2 jobs.
Oh, the 2 job descriptions.
We didn't vote.
We
have
didn't?
a motion and a second.
Oh, okay. And then there's discussion. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye, it is a vote. Okay, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Wow.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. Good night, everyone.